friends, welcome to Conversation with Pela. I don't know if I look at myself because I can actually see myself right now, or if I look at directly into the camera and then it makes me look like I'm looking directly at you. Most of the time there's a monitor and then I stop looking at the monitor because, like all things, I don't want to stare at myself because then I give myself too many concerns and it's better if I don't. But as you can see, I am still not back, but I will be. I will be back for tonight. There is a show in Provo at Kiln, Kiln. I will be interviewing Kyle Prater for his album release party. And if you want to be out there, man, just hit me up. Let me know. Get you on the list. We'll get you the link, whatever it takes. But you should come check it out. You know why? If you're not interested in music, but you should be, it's interesting music. There's going to be times in your life that you're going to want to do something big. You're going to want people to show up and to see about you. And, you might as well check out how he does it. Maybe it's ideas that you need to get your little projects off the ground. I say little projects. I do not mean little. I know every single one of you is meant for greatness. I really, really know that, and I really believe that. I've decided that part of sparking joy is that I'm just going to give it to you like straight up gossip, even though it isn't. Like, for example, a couple days ago, my bestie and I were visiting Estes Park in Colorado, and we were gone from 6 a.m. in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, driving through the mountains, stopping at every possible point to look and just take in all the beauty of the Rocky Mountains, because it's insane on the Colorado side. It is insane. It looks different on the Utah side. I just saying that in case anybody's wondering and they don't know. But we get out one point and take a bunch of pictures and we look around and just look out over this massive valley, and it is beautiful. There's a couple lakes down below. We know that this is the place where there's these big Rocky Mountain sheep. And my bestie looks at me and she says, "Is your shirt on backwards?" I had been choking the entire ride. It took almost 2.5 hours to get to where we were going. And I kept thinking, my shirt is really like touching my neck. And I'd put lotion on my face and I felt like the lotion was going to get on my collar and leave like an oil ring. And I was stressing. Turns out my shirt was on backwards. So I'm like, ah. So I turn around, no big deal. We get to the next lookout point and it's colder because we're going higher. This is the Mile High State, Mile High everything, Mile High City. And so we are further and further up, closer to the edge of the world, if you will. And it got cold, so I grabbed a sweatshirt and I put it on. And we get out to go to this point to look out at this new place. And I kept thinking, this is my favorite sweatshirt. It doesn't feel right. And I looked down and it's missing a logo. And I said, "Hey, bestie, is there a logo on my back?" And she said, "Yep. I put my sweatshirt on backwards." Now, I say this only because some of you might think that there's something to it. And I'm always curious to know what you might think it is that my shirt kept getting put on backwards over and over and over again. Because listen to this. We walk up to the edge of this lookout. We are looking out over the Rocky Mountains, looking out from a very high vantage point. And we're actually just looking for these rodents. They're not quite a chipmunk and they're not quite a dog, but they're somewhere in that range. And it starts with an M, and I don't really remember the name of it, but it looks like a giant chipmunk, but it's like this big. So we're just looking for them to see if we can spot them with our little eyeballs. So we walk up to the edge of this thing. It's like a circular pad, and it's got a rock wall around it so you don't just fall straight down the mountain. And both of us, same time, lean over the edge to look to see if this rodent is around, running underneath, like across the bottom of the wall. And as soon as we look down, there's a gentle breeze and a cloud of white ash that lands on both of our faces, and we both go, "That's a person. That's a person." We leaned over the wall and somebody released the ashes of whoever they had at the exact time that we both looked and both went, "That's a person." Now, I looked at the guy who had poured out the ashes, and he was looking at me like this. And my bestie looked and saw that he had a Ziploc bag in the sleeve of his poncho. And I just kept thinking, that's a person, but also, how does one fit into a Ziploc bag? I mean, we did the math later and made it made sense, but we started giggling because we had just inhaled this person. I said, we just got Big Lebowski'd. We just got Big Lebowski, and we turned around to walk away. We took some pictures, like, of the people in the background who, because it was just funny, right? Because we just inhaled this person, and we are giggling uncontrollably. We get to another spot on the wall, and we notice that everybody quiets down, and they circle up, and they pray. Everybody was there for the funeral except us, and we were the most irreverent people there, giggling that we had inhaled their loved one. So as they said their prayer, it turns out maybe her name was Carol. I think that's what we came up with. And they said, Carol has been laid here to rest with her husband, Michael or something or other, because, you know, we were just in shock that we were the only ones there who weren't part of the funeral. And they said, Carol is here in the mountains that she loved. And they shared some memories. And my bestie said, and also in our lungs. In our lungs. So Carol got to go with us everywhere, including to the Olivia Dean concert that we caught at the end of the night. There is an artist who opened for Olivia Dean, and her name is Baby Rose. If you ever wanted to hear soulful music that just kind of makes you happy and also feel like jumping around a little bit, you should check her out, Baby Rose, because I think there's going to be a time when she's the next big thing, and all of us are going to be trying to clamor to go to her concert and see her perform. Olivia Dean, I have never seen anybody spark this amount of joy when they perform. She loves what she does, and she jumped and she sang and she smiled, and it was just infectious. The entire arena was just in lockstep with this woman, just enjoy her own craft. It was beautiful. I can only hope that it's like that for all of us. Carol also enjoyed it from our lungs. All of that happiness. And I still can't get over what happened with Ryan Smith and ESPN. I thought that he was terminated in layoffs. I'm very familiar with layoffs. And it's just, you got to downsize for one reason or another. It really does come down to it just being business, even though that sucks. And I thought, there's no way they fired this man. He was just part of a layoff. He was fired. And he got on his own podcast and gave his own teammates kind of an exclusive interview. And I think it was hard to listen because I've been in a similar situation. So he was fired. He was fired. He was way more, I would say, culturally aware and politically aware of what it meant to be part of the culture, and he stood up for it, and people didn't like it. And I don't mean the viewers, I mean ESPN. And it's kind of hard. Like, I think that maybe there have been times in probably all of our lives where you kind of know things aren't, like, somebody doesn't like you or things aren't working out. But you ignore it because there's no way. I mean, you are doing so well. You are killing it. And that's where he was. And I think he ignored it a little bit, that, from his own words. He knew things weren't settling. He had been in meetings. And so even though this came as a surprise, it also didn't come as a surprise. And let me just say that I also understand from a business standpoint, you can't be held hostage to anyone. It is not a good thing to be held hostage because you feel like, oh, only that one person can give us what we've got. That's a bad situation all the way around. And, as talent or as an employer, not employer, but an employee, it's also very dangerous to feel like you're so good that nobody will ever, 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 ever want to get rid of you, because those things are not true. And this is, even though that Ryan Smith explained that, why am I calling him Ryan Smith? That's the jazz guy, Ryan Clark. I'm talking about Ryan Clark. it's, you just, some things are just business, and some things you just got to recognize that, like, this company existed before you and it'll exist after you. I tell myself that every single day with every single project I touch that's not 100% mine. It's that this was here before you and it'll be here after you. Please don't act like you are the linchpin, because then you forget that, you know, nobody's bigger than a program. And this is not a critique of Ryan Clark. He knew that. And I think it's just disappointing when you build something that's like big and it's successful, and you know you've done good work, and you know that what you've put out there has brought back the return and more, and then to still lose it all. It just hurts, and it just sucks. And I've been there before. Built something up, but I didn't own it. And when it ended, that's what it did. It ended. And that's, I think that's the part I kind of hold on to a little bit. ESPN can do whatever they want. Ryan Clark can do whatever they want, whatever he wants. And I think both companies are going to land well. I think ESPN is probably going to lose a little bit for a hot second, because there's a lot of people who feel like Ryan Clark was done wrong, but they'll recover. They'll find a way. And if they don't, they still have so much that even a lack of recovering isn't going to put them out of the game anytime soon. Ryan Clark, very talented, very capable, already has a solid platform and already has a solid podcast, The Pivot. He's going to land well. He's a great analyst. I listened to some of his stuff. I understand the game of football a little bit better, because you would think I'd know a lot about football, and I do not, which is, it's my own thing. Anyway, here's what I was thinking about. Sometimes life closes a door. Sometimes life will just close that door, and it's like a door that was so great while it was open, but at some point you start feeling like you're trying to like wedge your foot so the door doesn't close, and it's easy to resist that change is coming, and to think it's never going to get here. It's never going to get here. There's no way. Then it gets here, and it really because our egos are tied up in things like that. But here's what I know for sure. If you have taught yourself how to be great, if you have taught yourself how to practice exactness or perfection, and I don't mean like a perfectionist or a people pleaser, I just mean to do what you do and to do it well, the fact that door closed is just a rerouting. It's just a rerouting. You take time to grieve, take time to feel bad about stuff, because you do, because that's what happens is you feel bad, but never lose hope, because the hope is not so much that things will get better. It's just that you've done it before. You're great at stuff, and when you feel up to it, you'll be great at stuff again. I just think it's going to be such an exciting ride to watch. The transformation of Ryan Clark. I think I'm super vested in this, because his story on a much bigger scale is not very different from my own story. And I just want to see where it's going to go. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. I will be back in my little studio with my other camera, and I'm frustrated sometimes thinking about how much better this simple setup sound is than the big setup at the other place. Thanks for sticking with me.